is Nicholas Schultz, and my project is on the 37th President of the United States of America, President Richard Milhous Nixon. President Nixon was born on January 9, 1913, in Yorba Linda, California, and was the second of 5 children. As he grew up, he took up law and met his future wife, Thelma Catherine Ryan. Nixon and Thelma had 2 daughters, Teresa and Julie. After realizing that law could not suit his ambition, he and his family moved to Washington, D.C. and took a job in Franklin Roosevelt's office. He eventually joined the Republican Party, and as an ex-Marine, was a big hit with the people and became president on January 20th, 1969. His vice president was Spiro Agnew. However, Spiro wasn't the best vice president around. In the summer of 1973, he was investigated on charges of extortion, tax fraud, bribery, and conspiracy. It wasn't long before he was replaced by General Ford, who would soon become president. President Nixon was involved with many conflicts, one of which was the Vietnam War. He introduced a plan called Vietnamization, where the U.S. troops would gradually withdraw from the war. This would leave majority of the fighting to the South Vietnam Army, who would then do majority of the fighting. However, this plan never really took into effect, and the American Army population in Vietnam remained extremely high. On top of that, the Nixon administration ended up expanding the war into nearby countries, such as Laos and Cambodia. Finally, in his last year of office, 1973, the final American soldiers had finally left Vietnam, and it could finally be said that most of the American military had come back to America. However, many military advisors and Marines stayed. When Nixon came into presidency, he wanted to ease tensions with the Russian communists. At this point, the crazy arms race had grown out of control, and Nixon had become president right in the middle of it. Even though the Cold War was extremely heated, Nixon found a way to improve the situation. In 1972, Nixon visited the Soviet Union and met with Russian President Leon Brezhnev. Through talks, Nixon was able to defuse the situation and even got both parties to sign the first Strategic Arms Limitations Treaty. This would set limits to any production and deployment of any missiles. Many people consider Nixon a hero only because of this one treaty. Even though Nixon had fought through a Vietnam and Cold War, disaster struck in the 1970s. On June 17, 1972, there was a break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate complex in Washington, D.C. When Nixon's party tried to cover up the break-in, questions arose. After investigations, it was clear that Nixon was directly involved with the break-in. As it turned out, he was involved in a bigger scandal. Apparently, Nixon had bugged the government building and could listen in to any and all private conversations that were happening. As this was extremely illegal and facing certain impeachment, Nixon decided to resign on August 9, 1974, which made him the first ever president